Okay, so in this video, I'm going to explain how I earned 325,000 points and a Hilton Free Night Reward from my wedding expenses. And for those of you who've had your own wedding, you know that weddings can be expensive, and this is even more so in 2024. Now, when it comes to a large expense, and in this case, I'm talking about $50,000 or more, there are unique situations that come up that I think we all can learn from. So let's go over what credit cards I used for my wedding expenses, how I use them, and things I could have done differently to further maximize those earnings. But before I get into the specifics, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. With any credit card spend, and especially larger credit card spend, it's very important to have a plan and to continue to practice good financial habits as you always have. The main point I want to emphasize is that it's very important to treat your credit cards like debit cards or cash. If you do not have the funds to cover a large expense, whether it be for a wedding or any other type of larger expense, I wouldn't recommend using credit cards. You're going to see that I get hammered with credit card transaction fees and annual fees, and so it's really important to balance the value you earn with the fees that are charged. It's also important to make sure that you pay for these credit cards on time and in full, since any credit card interest that you get will destroy any value you earn back from these rewards. Now, if you have a larger expense, but you don't have the funds to cover it, there are lots of great 0% APR cards out there to choose from. Two examples would be the Wells Fargo Reflect card, which offers 0% APR for 21 months, as well as the Bank Americard, which offers 0% APR for 18 months. But I would caution doing this, since by paying over time, you start to view paying the minimum balance on your card as acceptable, and this is a very slippery slope to be on. Okay, so now that we have that disclaimer out of the way, what was my approach when thinking about credit cards to use for this larger spend? Well, it may come to no surprise that welcome offers played a big factor in most of the points that I earned. What's nice about welcome offers is that you often have a very favorable return on spend when you calculate the points earned as compared to the minimum spend requirement. And what's unique about larger expenses is that you can simply, quote, single shot the welcome offer by putting that one large expense on the card, so the amount of time necessary to complete the welcome offer really becomes irrelevant. For example, the Amex Business Platinum card has a standard welcome offer of earning 120,000 membership rewards points after spending $15,000 in purchases in 3 months. But if we single shot this welcome offer with a $15,000 expense, assuming a 1 cent per point valuation on MR points, and we all know that's being conservative, that would be at least an 8% return on spend. This concept also applies to cards like the Hilton Surpass card that has a benefit of earning a free night reward after spending $15,000 on the card in a single calendar year. Now, the return on spend on this option may not be as high as on welcome offers, but if you use the free night reward on a hotel that costs, let's say, $1,000 a night, that's about a 7% return on spend, which is still pretty good. Now, the concept of return on spend is important, especially for the wedding industry, because a lot of vendors charge a 3% credit card transaction fee. This means that the vendors pass the cost of the transaction fee from the credit card issuer to you. So you have to pay the fee instead of the merchant, which super sucks, but this is apparently really common with wedding vendors. This really drives the point home that welcome offers are the preferred way to earn points, because given a 3% transaction fee, if you just rely on the multipliers, even a 3x multiplier on a credit card valued at 1 cent per point is going to be the same as if you spent cash anyways. And I'll go over those 3% transaction fees when they come up, but let's get into the cards that I used. And these cards are the American Express Business Platinum card, the American Express Blue Business Plus card, the old American Express Hilton Business card, and the Bilt Mastercard. But since the Hilton Business card was recently updated, I would replace this card with the new Hilton Surpass card, since that card is similar to what the old Hilton Business card used to be. Okay, so starting out with the American Express Business Platinum card, this card had a welcome offer of 150,000 membership rewards points after spending $15,000 in purchases in the first 3 months of card membership. Of course, there have been even higher welcome offers recently with 175K and even 250K membership rewards points, but back when I applied for this card, the offers were either 150K or 200K membership rewards points. So if there was a 200K offer, why did I go for that? Well, the 150K offer that I got was actually a targeted no lifetime language offer. And I'm happy to take a no lifetime language offer any day, as this means this application won't affect my ability to apply for another Business Platinum card with the same business in the future. So I applied and was approved for this card, and I spent $15,000 on it to meet that minimum spend requirement. What's nice about the Business Platinum is that it has this category where you can earn up to 1.5x MR points back on eligible purchases over $5,000 or more. So because of this elevated multiplier, I made sure that my purchases were over $5,000, earning 1.5x MR points back on all those expenses. Doing the math, I earned 150,000 MR points for the offer plus an additional 22,500 MR points from that $15,000 to spend at a 1.5x multiplier, totaling 172,500 MR points. But this wasn't without cost. Remember, the Amex Business Platinum comes with a $695 annual fee, and sadly, I was also charged a 3% credit card transaction fee on top of all of my expenses, totaling $450. But with the annual fee, we have to factor in statement credits, and I value both the $200 semi-annual Dell credit and the $200 annual airline incidental credits at their full value. Since I applied for this card in December of 2023, I got the $200 Dell credit in the second half of 2023, as well as in the first half of 2024. I also plan on getting another $200 Dell credit in the second half of 2024, which means that I'll have earned $600 of Dell credits total by the time this card is up for renewal. Likewise, I earned $200 of airline incidental credits in 2023, and I also have already earned $200 of airline incidental credits in 2024. So I've earned a total of $400 in airline credits as well. So if we add the $695 annual fee with the $450 credit card transaction fee together, that would be $1,145. But then we can subtract $1,000 of statement credits from that amount, leaving a net loss of $145. So I gained 172,500 membership rewards points for a net cost of $145. And for this, I think we're doing pretty good so far. Next up, we have the American Express Blue Business Plus card. Now for context, this was a card that I really wanted to get anyways because it serves as a no annual fee MR point earning card that can store my points if I ever decide to cancel my other MR point earning cards, which all have very high annual fees. When I was applying for it, I was targeted for a welcome offer of earning 25,000 membership rewards points after spending $15,000 in the first 12 months of card ownership. And I know this offer isn't that great. At the same time, there was actually a 75,000 number point offer for the same spend in the same time frame, but sadly, I wasn't targeted for this offer, so I settled with a 25K offer since this was a card that I wanted to get anyways. So I applied and was approved for this card, and I spent $15,000 on this card as well. Because the Blue Business Plus has a multiplier of 2x MR points back on up to $50,000 in spend, I earned 30,000 MR points back plus the 25,000 points from the welcome offer as well, totaling 55,000 membership rewards points. Now this card has no annual fee, but sadly, I again had to pay a 3% credit card transaction fee, so I was charged an additional $450, which really eats into the value of those 55,000 MR points earned. Of course, I do want to point out that there are plenty of other welcome offers out there that may have been better choices than the Blue Business Plus. As of the recording of this video, the Blue Business Plus has an elevated welcome offer of earning 50,000 membership rewards points after spending $8,000 in purchases in the first 3 months, which would have been nice when I applied for this card, but unfortunately it wasn't there at the time of my application. The Chasing Preferred has a welcome offer of earning 100,000 ultimate rewards points after $8,000 in spend in the first 3 months. The Capital One Venture X Business has a welcome offer of earning 150,000 Capital One miles after spending 30,000 in the first 3 months. And the American Express Business Gold Card has a welcome offer of earning 150,000 membership rewards points after spending $10,000 in purchases in the first 3 months. But here are the reasons why I didn't go for these cards. At the time of my card application, I was over Chase 524, and since I didn't want a hard pull on my credit report for a likely denial, all Chase cards were out, including the cards in the Chasing family, which is too bad because their welcome offers are pretty good. I also consider the Capital One Venture X Business, since that would be 180,000 points, including the welcome offer and that $15,000 in spend at a 2x multiplier, but Capital One isn't very reliable when it comes to approvals. Not only that, Capital One cards can also result in 3 hard pulls, 1 per bureau, and I'd like to avoid that if possible because, again, I don't want to add hard pulls to my account for a potential credit card denial. And finally, we get to the Amex Business Gold card, and the decision to not get this card was more difficult. Now, I already have an Amex Business Gold card, but I certainly could have applied for a second one using a different LLC that I have. But the thought of getting yet another Amex Business Gold card and another monthly statement credit was something that I didn't want to do, so I decided against getting this card for my own personal sanity. And that turned out to be a good decision because I ended up with another quarterly statement credit after the refresh of the next card that I used, which was the Amex Hilton Business Card. Now, I've had the Hilton Business Card for over a year, so one strategy that came to mind was to cancel this card and then reapply for another Hilton Business Card under a different business. If I did that, I could take advantage of a new welcome offer while at the same time putting 15K spend on the card for that free night reward. But I decided against doing that for two reasons. First, if I applied for the new Hilton Surpass card, which had the better welcome offer, this would add to my Chase 524 status, and since I was already over Chase 524, I wanted to avoid adding to that count if at all possible. Second, if I applied for either a Hilton Surpass card or Hilton Business card, I would first have to cancel my existing Hilton Business card since I was already at my 5 credit card limit with American Express. This presents a problem because if I first cancel that card and then I ended up in pop-up jail on that next application, whether it be on the Hilton Surpass or Business, I would no longer have access to that Hilton 15K free night reward benefit. And for me, I just wasn't willing to take that risk because there were a lot of data points of people being in pop-up jail around that time. So I decided to keep my existing Hilton Business card, again, the old version, and I ended up spending $15,000 on that card too. But here's where it got really interesting. The charge I put on this card was for my venue, and so I fully expected it to code as 3x points back for that everything else category. But as my venue also included catering, at least that's what I think, that charge actually coded as a restaurant. So instead of getting 3x points back, I ended up getting 6x points back, which was a really pleasant surprise. So for $15,000 in spend, I earned 90,000 Hilton Honors points, and of course, that 15K Hilton Free Night Reward. And again, those expenses also came with a 3% credit card transaction fee, so I was also charged $450 in fees, and we also can't forget the $95 annual fee that came on the old Hilton Business Card. So taken together, that was $545 in fees. Okay, so now we're gonna move away from American Express because the next card I used was the Bilt Mastercard, and this one was pretty simple. I placed the charges on rent day, which is the first of the month, where I could get double the points or 2x points back on that everything else category on up to 10,000 points. So in my case, I put $5,000 of expenses on the first of the month, earning me 10,000 Bilt points and also pushing me from blue status into silver status in the Bilt Rewards program. And this card has no annual fee, and fortunately, the vendors I paid on this card didn't charge any transaction fees either, so that was pretty nice. Okay, so now that we've discussed the 4 cards that I use, let's tally everything up and see what my rewards were and how much it cost me to get them. Starting with the American Express Business Platinum card, I earned 172,500 membership rewards points at a total cost of $145, taking into account the annual fee, credit card transaction fees, and the Business Platinum statement credits. Next up is the American Express Blue Business Plus card, where I earned 55,000 membership rewards points at a cost of $450, resulting from the 3% credit card transaction fee on that $15,000 in spend. Then we have the old American Express Hilton Honors Business card, where I earned 90,000 Hilton Honors points and a Hilton Free Night Reward at a cost of $545, which is a total of the card's annual fee, as well as the 3% credit card transaction fee on that $15,000 in spend. And finally, we have the Bilt Mastercard, where I earned 10,000 Bilt points with no fees. So in $50,000 in spend, in total, I earned 227,500 membership rewards points, 90,000 Hilton Honors points, 10,000 Bilt points, and a Hilton Free Night Reward at a cost of $1,140 in credit card related fees. Now, if I conservatively estimate membership rewards points and Bilt points at a 1 cent per point valuation and Hilton points at half a cent per point, that would be an equivalent value of $2,825. But as we all know, point values can vary widely depending on how you redeem them. But based on these conservative estimates, I got at least $1,500 in value as well as a Hilton Free Night Reward from spend I was already going to do anyways. So you can see that this is not insane value, and I certainly could have done better. And I could have earned more points with other welcome offers, but I decided to take a more balanced approach with this, using welcome offers alongside benefits on other cards that I already had. Again, while I could have certainly earned more points than I did through welcome offers, I was able to do this entire strategy without any effect to my personal credit report with 0 new accounts and 0 new hard pulls. The only 2 cards I applied for were the Amex Business Platinum and the Amex Blue Business Plus cards, and both resulted in only soft pulls. And of course, these cards don't show up on your personal credit report either, as long as you have at least 1 personal Amex credit card. So not only was I able to get rewards back from this large expense, but I was also able to do so while keeping my own personal credit card roadmap intact, and to me, that is a huge win. And if you'd like to watch me apply for both the Amex Business Platinum and the Amex Blue Business Plus cards that I used in this particular strategy, check out this video next.